Senior advisor to the leader of Iran's Islamic Revolution says that ending Saudi Arabia's vicious attacks should be a precondition for any talks on Yemen's situation. Ali Akbar Velayati noted that any discussion on the Arab country's future should be mediated by the UN and should only be participated by Yemenis. Referring to the conference on Yemen's situation underway in Riyadh, he said that such meetings should be held in a neutral country. The Iranian official further said that extremists are committing crimes in Yemen, Syria and Iraq, adding that Islamic states need to cooperate in the fight against these groups. Velayati is currently in Lebanon's capital Beirut to attend the International Scholars Forum for Palestine. Author and Middle East expert Saeb Shaath joins us from Belfast to tell us more of his thoughts on this. Well, Saeb Shaath, you heard what the senior advisor to the leader of Iran's Islamic Revolution has said. But what I would like to ask you after your comments on that is, how is it that there could be a conference in Riyadh with supposedly some factions of Yemen participating in a country that's bombing their country? People that are related to these Yemenis are being bombed. How could that country be the sponsor of a peace conference, so to speak?
To begin with, a brilliant question as usual. Before the savage Saudi war of aggression on Yemen, mainly, and all the political players in Yemen who at the time before that war were engaged, according to Jamal bin Omar, who was the United Nations envoy to Yemen, they were engaged in the national dialogue and were close to reach a conclusion of that dialogue, which all parties will have share in running the affairs of Yemen. That scared the Saudis and the US. That meant these political parties became sovereign on their country if they implement such an agreement. And that's what the Saudis didn't want to see, and they started their war of aggression. Their war of aggression maybe succeeded in destroying Yemen infrastructure and maybe succeeded in destroying most of the hospitals, which is, never happened before to see a war targeting as many hospitals as the Saudis. Some reports even saying it will take hundreds of years to rebuild Yemen again. But the Saudis failed miserably in bringing Yemen back to their dominance, to their hegemony or the US hegemony. The revolutionaries in control of the majority of the country, with the Saudis trying to rearm Al-Qaeda and their partners. And that's why the Saudis try to establish a kind of national dialogue in Riyadh now. This is to bring parties who are traitors, actually. They were taking part in the attack on their own country, helping Saudis. They were informers telling the Saudis what targets to hit and what not to hit. So the enemy is negotiating with the enemy in Riyadh. That's the situation. They talk to each other. They are not talking to the revolutionaries who told them from the beginning they are not going to go to any dialogue if it's not in Yemen or in neutral capital, such in the country Oman or maybe Algeria or maybe Geneva. But the Saudis from that conference in Riyadh, they're trying to show and manipulate that conference to show the international media or the public opinion, international public opinion. There is a conference in Yemen. These parties who are the traitors in there, like Al-Islah Party and the rest, actually there are 4 parties who are in that. Al-Islah and other small minority parties, which is no one knows about. But they are talking, the Saudis want to present them as the representative of Yemen and to give the impression the revolutionaries in Yemen and the majority of Yemenis who look at these people as traitors are not the representatives of their country. And suddenly the Saudis want to defy the Yemenis people and impose its will again through these puppets. They orchestrated for this conference. They thought by that time this conference goes ahead, maybe the revolutionaries' back will be broken and they will come to the negotiation table and will accept the Saudis' conditions. But that didn't happen. The revolutionaries are still in control of Yemen and stronger than before, And the Saudis drove so deep the hatred inside the Yemenis people against the regime of Al Saud. This savagery against Yemen, over 4,000 people being killed, the destruction of Yemen as a whole country, that's what Saudis achieved. Even some reports coming out of Yemen showing like mushrooms clouds above some of the explosions. That is very disturbing. The amount of bombardment Yemen being exposed to, and the savagery is waging the Saudis using against that country. So the whole thing is a bazaar. Even if they're gonna try to do that, they're gonna repeat the scenario of Geneva. Even if they break the back of parts of Yemeni political parties and bring them to this conference, they're gonna repeat the Geneva conference of Syria once more, which means they'll prolong the war. It's just a pretext to prolong the war in Yemen. That's all what I see.
Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. That's Saeb Shaath, author and Middle East expert there from Belfast.